Now let's talk about the real VIP of the anteater world, the giant anteater. This guy is seriously impressive. I mean, talk about a grand entrance. From the tip of its super long nose to the end of its fluffy tail, a giant anteater can be as long as 7 feet. That's like taller than most doorways. Unlike its smaller cousins, this anteater prefers life on the ground. You'll find them strutting their stuff in the grassy areas and open fields of South America. And get this, they're surprisingly fast. Those strong legs and big claws aren't just for show. Gap 2S. And that big bushy tail, it's like their own personal balancing pole. Now, what does a giant anteater eat? Mostly ants and termites. They're like little vacuum cleaners, keeping those insect populations in check. Pretty important job, right? So, we all know the giant anteater, right? The big guy. But its smaller family members are super cool too. They really show how amazing and adaptable anteaters are. Take the silky anteater, for instance. It's totally different from its giant cousin. This little guy lives in the thick rainforests of Central and South America. And guess what? It's about the size of a squirrel. Can you believe it? It's perfectly built for living in the trees. Like a pro climber, Gap 2S. And what does it eat up there? Pretty much the same stuff as the big anteaters, ants and termites. But this little dude hunts for them in the branches. Then there's the lesser anteater. This one's a night owl, meaning it's mostly awake at night. It uses its superpowered nose and ears to find insects in the dark. Pretty sneaky, huh? So we've met the silky anteater. Now let's talk about its tiny cousin, the pygmy anteater. This little guy is the smallest of the 4 anteater types. You'll find it mostly hanging out in the Amazon rainforest. It's only about a foot long, super small. And get this, its fur is golden brown, just like the tree bark it lives on. Talk about blending in. Like the silky anteater, this one also lives in the trees. It uses its sharp claws and clever tail to climb around like a pro. Now, even though these 4 types of anteaters are all different sizes and live in different places, they all came from the same great and many more greats grandparent. They also share some really cool features that help them survive. Anteaters are definitely a bit odd, but they're also super interesting. They show us just how amazing and different animals can be. Wow! Anteaters are amazing! Their bodies are perfectly designed for their job, like a musical masterpiece of nature, created over millions of years to be the best at eating ants and termites. First, check out that super long nose. It's made of bone and can be almost half as long as their whole body, can you imagine? And their tongue, it's like a super-powered, sticky whip. It can shoot out almost 2 feet past their mouth and can move back and forth 150 times every minute. That's faster than you can blink. Gap 2S. And how do they get to those tasty insects? They have super strong claws on their front feet, perfect for digging into ant hills and termite mounds. Even their tummies are special. They're built to handle eating tons of tiny insects all day long. Pretty cool, right? Okay, so picture this, an anteater's tongue. It's like super special. It's like nature's way of saying, hey, you want to eat ants? Here's a tool. This tongue, right, it can stretch out like 2 whole feet. That's longer than some rulers. Gap 2S. And it's not just long, it's fast, super fast, like back and forth, back and forth. Imagine trying to catch flies with your tongue, but like 100 times faster. That's the anteater. And get this, it's sticky, super sticky. Covered in this special spit that's made in its chest, not its mouth. Weird, right? But it works. All those ants and termites, they're like stuck on a ride, straight into the anteater's tummy. So even though ants are tiny, there's loads of them. And the anteater? Well, it's got its super long, super fast, super sticky tongue. Dinner is served. So, ants and termites are like the bread and butter for anteaters, but just like we might prefer a certain type of bread, anteaters are pretty picky about their insects too. Not all ants and termites are the same in their eyes. They seem to have their favourites, usually the ones that are easy to find in their neighbourhood or the ones that are super nutritious. Think of it like this. If you lived near a bakery, you'd probably eat more bread than if you lived miles away, right? Same idea with anteaters and their insect snacks. Take the giant anteater, for example. They love hanging out in open fields and grasslands, so they mostly go after big juicy ants and termites that live on the ground. Gap 2S. But the silky anteater, totally different story. They live in trees, so they hunt for ants and termites up there. See? Even within the anteater family, everyone has their own way of doing things. And how do they find these tasty treats? Well, they have an amazing sense of smell. It's like a superpower that leads them straight to the ant and termite colonies. Then with their super strong claws, they rip open those nests like it's nobody's business. It's really quite impressive. Okay, so picture this. The anteaters found an ant nest. Party time! But how does it eat all those tiny ants? That's where its amazing tongue comes in. This thing isn't just long, it's super sticky, like a giant living lollipop for ants. It's covered in this special gooey saliva. Think superglue for bugs. This lets the anteater slurp up tons of ants really quickly. Gapper 2. S. This tongue isn't just long and sticky, it's also super fast. It can dart in and out of an ant nest like 150 times every minute. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh! Each time it grabs loads of ants with its sticky spit. This speedy eating is really important because, let's be honest, ants aren't exactly Big Macs. They're not very filling, so the anteater has to eat a lot of them to stay powered up. Gap 2S. Now, where does all that sticky spit come from? The anteater has special glands in its chest that make this extra gooey saliva. And get this, the saliva isn't just sticky, it also has special stuff in it that helps break down the ants' hard shells, making them easier to digest. So, the tongue goes in and out, the ants get stuck, and then gulp! Down they go. Pretty cool, right? Part 4. Efficiency experts. Getting the most out of their meals. Anteaters don't have teeth, but their tummies are amazing at getting all the good stuff out of insects. After they gulp down the ants and termites, their strong stomach muscles get to work like a grinder, mashing up those hard, crunchy shells. Their stomachs also have powerful juices that break down the insect protein, making it easy to absorb. Gap 2S. Fun fact, anteaters don't digest everything they eat. The hard outside parts of the insects come out as tiny dry pellets, kind of like what owls do. This cool trick helps anteaters get the most energy and nutrients from their food, so they can stay healthy and strong. Because anteaters are so good at catching and digesting insects, they can live in places where other animals might go hungry. These amazing animals show us how even strange features can help animals survive and do well. It's like a real-life superhero story, but with anteaters. Anteater quirks. Surprise, surprise! We know anteaters look a bit strange and eat only bugs. But there's way more to these amazing animals. They have secret talents and surprising habits that make them even cooler. Let's peek beneath the surface and discover some awesome anteater secrets. You might think anteaters are picky eaters because they have no teeth and only eat insects. Nope. Giant anteaters are super hungry and can gobble down a whopping 30,000 ants and termites every day. Wow, that's a lot of bugs. This shows how good they are at finding food and how many bugs live where they do. Even though they're big and have powerful claws, anteaters are surprisingly good swimmers. Their long noses work like snorkels, helping them breathe while they paddle across rivers and streams. Their strong legs make them great swimmers. This helps them move around their homes and escape danger. And guess how they sleep? Anteaters curl up in a tight ball, like a furry donut, with their bushy tails wrapped around them. This keeps them warm and cozy, but it's also a clever trick to hide from danger. They blend in with their surroundings, so it's harder for other animals to spot them. Wow, what a journey we've had with anteaters. From sunny grasslands to the deep, dark Amazon rainforest, we've seen how amazing and mysterious these creatures are. Remember their long noses, and those super-fast tongues, and those powerful claws? Each of these amazing features is proof of how nature has shaped them over millions of years to be the best ant and termite eaters around. Anteaters are like a symbol of how clever nature is. They show us that even the strangest animals have a super important job in nature. Gap 2. S. You see, anteaters love to eat ants and termites, right? Well, that's not just a funny habit, it's actually really important. By eating so many ants and termites, they help keep the numbers of these busy insects just right. This keeps the whole environment healthy and balanced. And get this, when anteaters dig around looking for food, they help spread seeds, let air into the soil, and move nutrients around. They're like little gardeners, making the places they live even better. But anteaters are more than just helpful gardeners. These gentle giants are also inspiring. For hundreds of years, people have told stories and made art about them. They remind us how beautiful and amazing our planet is, but also how delicate it is. Anteaters teach us that we need to take care of all the amazing creatures and places around us.